Peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, aka Mr. Just the Facts. Mr. Just the Facts. Make sure y'all hit that like button first and foremost. You already know what time it is. Make sure y'all hit the share button. We're gonna, I don't know how deep we're gonna get into our initial conversation because I forgot that I had something else planned at 8 o'clock. That's why I pushed the stream back, and I had to take care of that with some of our reparationist family. You know, we got some things that we're working on. You know, the people that's doing real work. The people that's doing real work. So I could push this YouTube stuff back, right? Because some people, they just solely rely on this YouTube stuff. We don't. We do real work over here. So peace to everybody that's in the building. Peace to all the BTP mods. I see y'all. I want to pull up I want to keep tallies on what's going on with brother Cato Marcel out in California. Right now, those votes are coming in. So I'm going to let me see. How can I do this? I'm going to do it like this. I don't know if y'all could see those numbers. Let me check YouTube. One second, family. Nah, you can't really see that. But I'm still just gonna keep it up. It's showing that Clyburn with 18% of the precincts reporting is clearly in the lead with 27,579 votes, constituting 88.6%. It just changed. It just went up 29,352 votes. Still compromising the same percentage, 88.6%. Michael Addison is in second place with 2,397 votes, constituting 7.2%. And Marcel is in third place, Greg Dixon, with 1,376, constituting 4.2% of the vote.
Total 33,125 votes reported. So tonight's conversation was supposed to stem from a conversation that we were having earlier. Peace to the family, man. Sister Moriega in the building, BTP Riri, Gary Johnson. These, I think some of them were in here earlier. Let me see. Who else do we have in the building? Sister Fate XX, Tom Thumb, Angelique Jackson, my brother Eternally Strong. We know who that is. Shout out to the Freedman family that's in the building right now. The conversation, Chris and Manike, shout out to the members that's on the channel. Looney, what's good, fam? Sun kissed by the Most High said he or she's new. I can't see. I might need to put my glasses on. But Dark Child Williams, what's going on? Freedman Street, Antonio Thomas, what's good? Peace to the Freedmen. The Freedmen are on deck. The Freedmen are on deck. Brother Gary Johnson said, even if Marcel doesn't win, he ran a great campaign. Indeed, it's Jay said on the 444 album, on one of the songs, a loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson. And this is regardless of the fact, it's a lesson. Win, lose, or draw. It's a lesson for everybody. We promote on this platform to be the power, right? And that's what it's about. It's all about being the power. And in order to fight the power, to really fight the power, you have to become the power. That's why we say, don't just fight the power. Don't just fight the power. Become the power, and then you'll have the power to make a change, because with that, you will be able to exhibit and exude some of that very power. So the initial conversation, now I'm not going to get too deep into it. I'm just going to probably just yap for something that I'm not used to doing, yapping for a couple minutes, but we wanted to talk about Black and Negro, for instance, in these terms being and representing badges and incidents of slavery. We're gonna start having some deep discussions here on Be the Power over the next couple of weeks. One of the things that we're going to get into is the unconstitutionality of slavery. And that's something that we've already touched on this channel. But everything looks different when we put the Freedman lenses on. Now, our understanding has grown. I mean, hell, even from a few months ago. So imagine from a year ago, and we were having a discussion earlier, me and Ali. I can't remember if any of the other brothers was on. I think Grim was on. I think Josh was on as well. Ibrahim was on for a minute. And we was building about this term, the badges and the incidents of slavery, right? As the lineage and race-based discussion has taken hold. I just had this this funny guy, Omar Wale, who be caping for knocking, and Cobra try to invite me to come on to some platform talking about character assassination. These people are just whack, man. These people are whack, these narking and Cobra people. But nevertheless, they have their panties, pun intended, in a bunch about this race-based reparations versus lineage-based reparations claim. And, the guy feels that I'm disrespecting Narkin and Cobra. That's funny. But they deserve respect. I mean, we had them on, and the guy Ray Wimbush was straight disrespecting Sister Ra. I was seething that I couldn't get up on the stage because I wanted to confront that guy. He was just really, really disrespectful. But it is what it is. Now they're demanding respect. So we had a really deep and interesting conversation earlier, and I want to get to some of that. Right, I'm gonna read a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna go in too deep tonight. I'm just gonna touch on. I'm gonna touch on this the badges and incidents of slavery, and I want to put something on y'all's minds as we move forward. Let me first check the numbers and see what's going on in South Carolina. Yeah, brother Cato Marcel is still in third place. Clyburn's lead is widening, and they have a check mark next to Clyburn's name. So, I mean, I've watched the poll numbers come in on the New York Times before. Usually, when they put the check next to the name, it means that they've already called it. So, right now, I guess what we could do is just watch the numbers as they come in. There's only 21% of the precincts that have reported. And like I said, a loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson, fam. And after this, you go back, all of us, we go back to the drawing board and we regroup. We learn from all of our mistakes and we come up with the better plan, because that's what war is and strategy is all about. It's all about coming up with better plans. And for those of you who will run, and you will run in other places in this country, you get to look at everything that has happened with Brother Marcel, Sister Tamara Johnson Shirley, and you get just to get an understanding of where things went wrong as reparationist candidates, right? Because for us, we are absolutely anti-establishment, and being anti-establishment means that you got the full weight of not only the Democratic Party but the Republican Party as well against you. So what do you do in those situations? You go back to the drawing board and you understand, like my bro just said, all freedmen unite. You start to look at what worked and what didn't work, and you make it's like a boxer, right? You make the adjustments. In a rematch, the two boxers usually fare better because they are able to make the adjustments, and usually the better fighter will defeat the opponent. So, that's basically where we're at with it right now. But I want to read a little bit to you all, because we're going to start breaking this stuff down really soon. This, blackness, right? If you would all just take a look at your brown skin, take a look at your brown skin, y'all. You could see that it's brown. I have this wristband on. You could see that it's black. You could clearly distinguish this black wristband up against my brown skin. So blackness in and of itself means what? Blackness in and of itself means that it is a socio-political construct that we have accepted as an identifier in this country. We have become proud of it, right? I'm black and I'm proud. Before that, black was seen as a derogatory term by even our people. You hear people say, "With your black ass," right? That's a disrespectful, it seems like a term of endearment now, but you go way back in the days, and I think there was an interview that Andre Harrell was doing, and he brought that up, that you couldn't call nobody black back in the day. Negro was the charge. We got brother Ali on. All right, let me see. How can I do this? What I'll do is I'll just keep checking. I'll
Sound a little muffled. I don't know if that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
I sound muffled.
Now you don't. Now you sound good.
One, two, one, two. Let me know if
Sounds great.
okay, cool, cool. Let me see. Tattoo Major said, I think Marcel won the popular vote outside of South Carolina, but Clyburn still has a large local butter biscuit voting base. Then he said he should have gotten more than 1,500 votes. I mean, like in all fairness, outside of South Carolina doesn't matter at this point. The only thing that matters is South Carolina. And, right now, we've put a lot of, emotion and energy um, into, yeah, but you can't, top two majors, you can't say if we were able to vote outside of South Carolina, he would have won. We gotta be realistic, fam. We gotta be realistic. Yeah, you want to say something, Ali?
No, no, no. I was trying to turn the camera on, but
Yeah. So
uh,
mhm.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
Even with that, right? It's like, okay, so now what's the next course of action? This should be this whole campaign at a grassroots level was a success in so many ways. But let's go to your point, Tatu Major, right? That if we were able to vote outside of South Carolina, he would have won. Let me pull your comment up. Now, let's look at the general election, the presidential election, right? Same candidate, same scenario. The successes would have been way greater. Under it's this that understanding of local politics versus federal politics and why local politics is so vitally important. But the push from grassroots and black media, et cetera, help put that brother in the spotlight in a way that a lot of people have taken notice. A lot of people have taken notice. So now it's time to regroup, right? Now it's time to regroup. And, in regrouping, we we figure out a way to win the next time. And that's it. Because we are the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. And we've had our issues with a lot of people in this movement. And some of that stuff, I said I was going to talk about it because I'm Mr. Just the Facts. But I've decided that I'm not going to talk about any of that, right? Current, I'm going to just leave it. It's time to move forward. It's time for us to really focus on the task at hand, and really get this thing going. Ali, you want to say something?
It just yeah, yo. To me, how do I sound? How do I sound to you? Like the sound of my vocal.
Well, you just sounded good, but it was coming through a little choppy. So is my sound coming in choppy? You?
It sounds like weird. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Oh,
distorted a little
yes,
bit.
it's off.
I don't hear anything now. Now you're out. Now you're out. I don't hear anything. Nope. Still don't hear anything. I still don't hear anything. How about you guys? Do y'all hear him? Mic check. I don't hear you at all now. I don't know what happened. I messed you up. I messed you up. It says somebody said it was choppy. How do I sound? Am I choppy or does it sound okay? They say yeah. It says your sound is off now. That's what Tattoo Major just said. Okay, cool. Nope, your sound is out. That's you said I sound low. Oh man. Check, check, check. One, two. I sound low. Nah, we can't count him out. Definitely not. This is just the beginning. You gotta remember, brother Marcel. We know him over here as Cato. He got in the race late. We gotta remember that. You know what I'm saying? And um, a lot of the constituents in that particular district, because that's what really counts. You gotta, and that's the thing, right? We look at um, all of the steam built up around him and all of the like brother Naheem said, of the emotions online that have been built up, around brother Marcel, and we feel it in the movement, right? You got to remember, we're a specific group of people within the black community at large. We're the reparationists. And so the reparationist, you know what I'm saying? we we feel him because he's speaking our language. But the thing that we gotta remember is that the majority of America, even the majority of Black America, are not reparationists, man. Marcel was speaking our particular language. You know what I mean? And we still have a lot of work to do. And what this to me kind of indicates to us is the amount of work that is still needed to be done in terms of trying to convince even Black America that they should be self-interested with regard to being reparationists, right? Because that's really the message that the brother was running on. Is like, to fix America, you have to repair Black America, right? And so, you know, right within my own family, I can guarantee you, right within my own family, um, right within my own family, man, I can find a whole bunch of people who are not reparationists, who are not interested in it. I can find within my own family bootstrappers who didn't want to hear me talking about reparations and stuff like that. Like, there's people in my family who kind of got a little upset that I was talking about reparations, as opposed to bootstrapperism, um, etc. You know what I mean? Kind of got a little, got a little attitude about it. You know what I mean? So it's a real thing, man. Naheem, you there? Check. Mic
Yeah,
check. I
yeah.
don't.
I had to. My mic went out.
Okay,
Something is wrong with my
got you,
box. I don't know, man. I
got you.
keep
Yeah,
saying I'm gonna get a new one, but
yeah, yeah. But you clear now. It's just different quality, obviously, than the mic, but
yeah,
we could hear you. And so, just to y'all know what I'm talking about, man. We are a minority group within the black community. The reparationists are a minority group within the black community and within America. Period. That's just the truth. And so, brother running on a reparations platform, fix Black America to fix America. It's a great it's a great approach, right? And we know it because we're the ones who are thinking, right? We're the ones who are thinking about salvation, right? The people who are thinking are the ones who are going to be able to ultimately save themselves and their families. But we got to start getting people within our families, right? And I know we be talking about going out into the street, but we gotta at least try to get some of our own family members to at least rock out with us in these spaces, man. It's like it's me, my sister, my cousin, right? It's Naheem by himself. It's Logic by himself. It's Josh by himself. It's Grim by himself. It's Moriega by herself over here. You know what I'm saying? It's Roz by herself, right? I'm talking about no, I mean Roz and her brother, right? And then you have, Sister Kelly. It's just Kelly. It's just Angie, right? It's just Marcel. Marcel has a whole family, but it's just Marcel. That's who you see as a reparationist. You see what I'm saying? We can keep going down the line, and it's like it's always just like us, right? these individuals that are getting together to try to create some things. We see brother Chad, but where's Chad's whole family? Where is you know what I'm saying, Chris's whole family? Where's his cousins and his uncles, and you know what I'm saying? That's the problem that we having at this point. That's the problem we having at this point. It's like we can't get everybody. Even I see Omawali Africa in the building. But see, my thing is, this is a universal. This is a message about us as Black Americans in this country. It's too many of us. There's too many of us that's not that 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 are not together within our own families, man. And that's where the problem is. And to me, this election with Marcel kind of demonstrates that, in the sense that the people in his district are really kind of like fixed. They're stuck. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was times I had to check family member. One of my cousins was on. We was on live. This was like, I don't know, man, a year ago or 2 years ago when we first started BTP. It was some months in, and one of my cousins jumped on and it started talking some bootstrapperism stuff. We had to get him together real quick, right on the spot. I was
That's a
like,
fact.
family, it don't matter. You got to get gotten together. You gonna get gotten together, right? And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be us. And I got to talk through my phone. Something is wrong with my mic right now. So I know my audio quality is probably obviously not the same
Nah,
as the microphone.
yeah, but you sound clear. You sound good and clear now. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. And peace, brother Marcus. Yeah, man. This is, to me, it's just like a wake up call. We gotta start getting our families involved. We keep talking about going out into the street and all that, and that's cool. We gotta do that too. But most of us don't even. It's just us. Like, we single individuals out here, man. We ain't got our families in this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm lucky. I got my sister and my cousin, but like I have a big fucking family. Like, it's a whole lot of us, man. And the majority of my family ain't even interested in this shit, man.
Yeah, yeah. And we live in a country that's like that for the most part, right? We live in a country where, especially for black people, where you once you make it, your view of everybody else, although you may have come from the same ground level as they have, your view is no longer ground level. And we get amnesia to the fact that we were once at the bottom of the bottom. And that's why, I respected a lot of the billionaires, Robert Smith, Bob Johnson, and millionaires that were saying that our people need reparations, right? And we're serious about it. That's why I didn't understand the critiques that the Yvette and Tone was making against them. And when the fact of the matter was, you know, these people, from their understanding, was trying to get it together. You're never going to just reach people by attacking them, and that's what made us different. You know,
Right.
that's what made us different. We got some Pan-Africanists in the chat. Let me see.
Elections are not won virtually. Newcomer, what he said, newcomers. No, I mean, and he says the newcomers to the movement have to mature past hashtag activism to real grassroots coalition building, particularly as it relates to districts. Right, when you're running for office like that, yeah, like, I mean, that's correct. Like, you have to connect to the people, and it's interesting that he's bringing that up, right? Because remember, one of the things we got into it with the people from the Security Tribe about when that situation happened in Texas, right, with the town in Texas, and we kept trying to explain to them that this thing, right, when it comes down to municipalities, when it comes down to actual congressional districts, council districts, whatever, you understand what I'm saying? You have to actually connect with the people that live there. So all over the country, you get support online. You might get support even from people in Africa who's loving your message. Like, man, I love this message, right? This is powerful. I'm going to donate to your campaign. The donations help, right? You need that. You need the donations so you could put out the flyers, the posters, travel around, pay the people who are helping you, and put together your campaign, make the phone calls, get from A to B, make these meetings, get to these to these fish fries and whatever the thing is that you got to go to meet the people. But you do have to meet the people. The problem is being in the Bible Belt, which is where he is. You know what I'm saying? You have these older black folks, right? And this was the problem even with bringing in Kamala and Joe Biden in the first place, when black people made it clear nationally that they really didn't want Joe Biden as the president or Kamala Harris as the vice president. Black people kind of made that clear, right? Across the board. But what happened in South Carolina when Clyburn got in and used his power, right? He was able to drum up the amount of support that these people needed to push them over the edge. So that's what happened. But see, these folks are stuck. They are fixed within the Democratic Party. They are people that toe the party line, regardless of the fact that benign neglect has been the practice of that party against our people for the past, I don't know how many, damn near 60 years going on at this point now. You see, they haven't done anything for black people. And I know they love bringing up the health care bill that Barack Obama put in place, but that wasn't for black people. That was for Americans across the board, right? So they take these policies, these laws, pieces of legislation that are done as social policies for society in general, and then try to make it seem like this was for black people. No, it's not. Most of the time they specifically tell you they're not going to do shit for black people. Like Barack Obama basically tried to tell Ta-Nehisi Coates when Coates was trying to interview him in that for the Atlantic, right? Remember the interview? Coates is trying to get him to talk about reparations, and instead of talking about reparations for the descendants of these people who were emancipated in the United States and were promised certain things, certain commitments by the federal government that they reneged on, instead of dealing with that, he's telling them, well, what about Latinos? How are Latinos going to feel if we do something for these slave descendants? Well, how the Asians going to feel if we do something specifically to fix the slave descendants that we deliberately fucked up, right? How are they going to feel about this if we do this? And so, same thing with Kamala Harris. No, I'm not going to do nothing specifically for black people. She said that shit, right? That shit went viral. They clipped it, it went viral. Same thing with Joe Biden during the campaign. What did Joe Biden tell them when they asked him about reparations for the people, the segment of society that this country deliberately fucked up, right? What about repairing these people? You know what he said? Latinos are the future. That's who we should invest in. And he even told black people, y'all need to get with them and build with them and get behind these people. This is his message to black people. So the Democratic Party, the people who are heading the Democratic Party, ain't shit, ain't gonna do shit, haven't been doing shit, and that's the fucking American way. We need to understand that, and we need to start moving in ways that's a lot more sophisticated than towing the goddamn Democratic Party line. That's my spiel right there.
That's right. That's right. We got the team on tonight, man. But I want to play something based on what Ali was just breaking down. And y'all have heard us play this clip before. And all right, the whole team on tonight. All right. I mean, we still minus one person, but the rest of the team is on tonight. Let me play
and,
this
under,
Obama clip.
and understand, we love the brother, right? We love
That's right.
our brother Logic. When
Shout out to
he's
our
when
brother
shout
Logic.
out to Logic, when he's ready, he come back. Period. Point blank. Ain't nobody. Listen, it is what it is.
That's
It is.
right.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah, we always shout out to our brother Logic. I hope nobody don't ever get it twisted or confused. Let me play this clip real quick, and then we gonna let the bros. We just gonna have the discussion, man. We'll save our other topic, Black/Negro or badges of slavery, because that's gonna be deep and it's gonna run into a breakdown that we do about the unconstitutionality of slavery.
And let me say this. Let me just say this to preface that a little bit. The Black/Negro being badges of slavery is a conversation for sophisticated people, for sophisticated people that can actually understand things without being ruled by their emotions. If you are the type of person who is ruled by your emotions, then that kind of conversation is not for you. Because what we're going to talk about are historical facts. We're going to talk about it from the perspective of legislation. We're going to talk about it from the perspective of the Supreme Court and their position on the incidents and badges of slavery. We're going to talk about it from the perspective of the stain of slavery and how that has stood with us from the time of emancipation to this day. So if you are not sophisticated enough to have the conversation to understand what we're saying when we say that Negro, Black, and colored are badges of slavery, then that ain't for you. That's not the
That's right.
conversation for you.
That's right. Y'all know how, y'all know how we do over here. So let me play this clip, and then we gonna get to the rest of the fellas.
Counterproductive. And it's perfectly understandable why working class white folks, middle class white folks, folks who are having trouble paying the bills or dealing with student loans or, don't have health care, where they feel like government has let them down, wouldn't be thrilled with the idea of a massive program that is designed to deal with the past, but isn't speaking to their future.
You're saying we live in a country where we can do that for bankers on Wall Street, but we can't do it for a part of the population that's been struggling for so long.
Well, I promise you, white folks don't like that either. But look, even though I was convinced that reparations was a non-starter during my presidency, I understand the argument of people I respect, like Ta-Nehisi Coates, that we should talk about it anyway. If for no other reason than to educate the country about a past that too often isn't taught, and let's face it, we'd rather forget.
Okay. Who
Like
wants to take it?
like and share, y'all.
Like,
Like and share
yeah,
with your family and friends. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. I just want to say this, man. Number one, this was a big victory, man. Marcel's candidacy in itself was a victory because, number one, we know we all met Cato via this medium. Cato took the Friedman philosophy, the Friedman ideology that we imparted to everyone on this medium. He took BTP, the term be the power, and he basically put that into motion from nothing, from zilch, y'all. He put it together from zilch. And that's why I say that Providence has its eye over this Friedman movement. The universe has its eye over this Friedman movement, that the universe took a humble, well, he's not humble, but he's a very outspoken person, but it basically took a teacher, y'all, a school teacher, and elevated him to not only that local politics, but to a national platform to where the brother was able to talk to several different types of media, from the black media and via social media to the mainstream media, even being written about by Breitbart, and actually taken serious as a candidate from absolutely nothing, from zero, from the education that he received from us via the Friedman philosophy. This is a victory, y'all. This is so much so a victory that, from what I understand, I don't know the whole story, but I think Sister Shauna does, that Clyburn's daughter had to jump on one of the spaces to address this thing. And if Marcel did nothing else, he put a crack in the armor of the black elitist class that is leading us in circles in the wilderness. You understand what I'm saying? If he did nothing else, he cracked Clyburn's armor and
That's a fact.
exposed the apathy, the use. I don't want to say corruption, but the fact that all those years he been in office, that place had moved one iota for black wealth and black power. Y'all follow what I'm saying to you? So, man, this is a victory, and it's going to happen. None of this stuff, we don't expect nobody to put the crown on this instant. Like Ali was saying, this is something that's going to take some time. But I'm telling you, Marcel Dixon, Cato, or BTP Cato, as we know him as, right? He's going to be around for a while. And it's only a matter of time before he's sitting in that seat. Because there are going to be people who recognize the downfall and recognize that Clyburn is not the man for him, even though they voted. You know, people do things, they vote, and then they say, you know what? That Marcel guy was right. So this thing is going to have implications for in the future. So he cracked the armor off of this thing, or at least put a kink in the armor, and we just have to take this thing, and we are taking this thing as a win, because he exposed a lot nationally. He exposed a lot of the failures of Clyburn. He exposed the kingmaker. Y'all remember we talk about it all the time about how Clyburn saved by his candidacy. Right. And we all, as a community.
Hold on, Grim. Hold on. I didn't mean, I don't want, but I want to, I'm my bad. I want to address Omar Wally, bro. I got to address this dude, right? He said, why do you assume I'm here to debate you? This ain't the conscious community, beloved. Politically speaking, I'm a little bit further down the road than you, but this ain't a race. I've been to this guy's platform and heard him say out of his own mouth that we shouldn't be voting in elections, that we should be immigrating back to Africa or migrating back to Africa. You are a political infant to me, Omar Wally, first and foremost. And I gotta address his comment just real quick, Grim. I'm gonna let you go back, but I gotta address this. I don't want our conversation to get too far past where I want to address this, because we ain't gonna speak on this tonight, but we're gonna in depth, but we will speak on it. He said Negro, black, or colored are badges of slavery, but American isn't. Now, this is the same guy that said he's politically further up the road than I am. Let me read that again. Negro, black, or colored are badges of slavery, but American isn't, which qualifies what I said about the words that came out this man's own mouth, that we should go back. Now, this guy's in Philadelphia. He's not in Africa. He's in Philly trying to convince other Philadelphians to not be political, to not vote, because voting isn't going to do anything. Then he asks, what about the term freedman? Is the term freedman not a statement of our former enslaved condition? Of course it is. But because you don't have any understanding of what badges and incidents of slavery means, you ask a question out of ignorance. And had the night went, I forgot I had to do something else with other reparationist family. We would have been given a lesson right now on exactly what the badges and incidents of slavery means. You are nowhere on our political level, Omar Wally. You're a Pan-Africanist. I mean, just looking at some of the words that you're saying in the chat. Okay, yeah, pull up. This talking. I'm tired of this talking. Yeah, go ahead, Grim. We gonna wait for Omar Wally to pull up, and then we gonna get it in.
Well, I'm gonna say this. He basically, came to our platform, so he has an interest in this. So he basically right now could be talking about Marcus Garvey or jumping on a flight to the continent, but instead, he's talking to, he come here, and it's kind of, it's kind of disheartening. I'm not going to disrespect the brother, but it's kind of disheartening that in the midst of this stuff, people jump on these platforms because really, technically, you come here to gloat, about the man not being elected to that office. That's
Right.
basically what you come here to do. And you come here to basically wish ill upon the people who use this term freedmen. And it's unfortunate. And a lot of guys know that I get ghosts sometimes. And the reason that I get ghosts is because our people are not only, a lot of our people are not only infantile, but a lot of our people are wicked, evil, hateful, and jealous. And I don't care if they wear the red, black, and green, the red, gold, and green. This is just what it is. People are really not vying for freedom. But what people are vying for is the hearts and the minds of the public to their own interest and to their own personality. And that's kind of like unfortunate that now we have to turn this basically good conversation into addressing somebody who don't understand what we're talking about or don't have the level of studies and education that we have on this thing. And the whole thing about this, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get off. I'm not going to say anything else. The whole concept of this whole Pan-Africanism thing, because I was there. I was a member of the UNIA at one point, and I've told y'all my personal nightmare stories about that organization. So I'm not going to get into that. But the bottom line is this, is that the people in Africa, for the most part, do not reciprocate the concepts and the ideas of Pan-Africanism. And sometimes even when they think of Pan-Africanism, they're not necessarily talking about the diaspora. They may include some of the islands by extension, but they definitely not talking about the American freedmen. And the bottom line is that, yes, like Naheem said, the freedmen, the American, all of that stuff is the marks and the brand. So we haven't even broke down what we're talking about yet. So you have no clue of what we're talking about. So I mean that's just an unfortunate thing, and I know y'all go in. Basically, man, tell a brother to pull up, but I'm gonna just say that it's basically unfortunate because all that Pan-Africanism stuff, all of those years, I done been to those before I even knew y'all. I done been to these narc things. Then it came to my city. I done been to these what's the other one? In Cobra, the narc people. I've been to all of these things. And I can remember somebody asking about dual citizenship and the African guy that was at the thing that was giving people a run around. That stuff is not reciprocated to the descendants of the sons and daughters of freedmen.
That's right.
They may want us to come over there for an educational trip so they could, that make the economy better based upon tourism. But man, none of that stuff is reciprocated, because those people don't necessarily have the same understanding of our suffering. And even when you go to some of these places, some of these African brothers, as we would like to put each other in this big soup or call blackness and put us together as the so-called black race, when you set foot down on that continent and you're in tourist mode yourself, some of those people will mow you over to get to a tourist from Europe. And those people, some of the, I remember when I was on the when I was in the military, and one of the brothers was telling me his story about when he got on a bus in Africa. A white man jumped on a bus, and I think he got bumped or whatever by one of the Nigerians. And he just started wailing on the guy like he was beating his pet dog or something. And the guy didn't even have the energy or the tenacity to attack this European who attacked him first. So I'm only making that to make the point of and I'm not saying all Africans, but the concept of cowardice that's still embedded in that continent that American freedmen barely have anymore. You hit an American freedman, for the most part, they're gonna hit you back. So these people don't have the same spirit and energy, because this whole Pan-Africanist thing would have been super successful amongst our people. And we talk about Eddie Griffin making a joke, right? And I'm about to get off now here. Eddie Griffin made the joke a long time ago about the other groups and nationalities of people. He said something to the effect, and I hope y'all remember this. Go look it up, because he was 100% right. He was saying that, you go to any other country, if they would have grabbed a bunch of Europeans and brought them to a specific spot for slavery, it would have been a universal war. He was funnier than what I am saying it, but I'm just making a point. And he said they went over there, got a bunch of black people, exiled those black people from their continent, brought them over here, made them slaves. They ain't sending not a goddamn vote for the slaves in America. People
all right,
made
Griff.
slaves in America.
We got the Omawali guy on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I'm
this
done.
guy been running for so long. Now that he's here, I mean,
yeah. But I just wanted to make that point, bro. I just wanted to make that point, man. That stuff or whatever, man, that stuff is not reciprocated.
Indeed. Pan-Africanism is dead. It's not something that's even practiced on the continent. It is purely an American invention that Pan-Africanists try to force fit onto the rest of Black Americans, while over in Africa, these people have absolutely no will to unify with us on anything. They're going through their own stuff. They have their own governments ran by their own people, unlike the government that we have here. So you're up, what's up?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Josh. Hold on. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, like I already said in the chat, like why do you assume that I pulled up to debate you? You dropped the link on Twitter, so I clicked the link and I was just listening to the convo and I was engaging in good faith.
Well, it's always a debate when we get Pan-Africanists such as yourself who are dishonest and disingenuous, that make dishonest and disingenuous statements. Um, but it's going to always be smoke whenever we bump heads. So I don't
And
ever want that to
that's
be confused.
that's the difference, bro. Like it really ain't no smoke with me. Like I don't. Here's the thing. I feel like with a lot of the new folks who've come into the reparations movement, when they interface with Pan Africanists, I think that sometimes I feel personally, and I can't speak for everybody who professes to be a Pan Africanist, but I feel like we are at a bit of a disadvantage. And what I mean by that is essentially we can run the risk of coming off as condescending based upon how we respond to the questions and assertions that are being made by some of the newer folks. And and again, I'm not trying to be condescending, but just some of the statements that are often made or the narratives that are repeated to me, like they're just indicative of not necessarily having enough information about the topic. So like it could never really be a debate. And to be honest, if you
You wait, first and foremost,
well, let me just finish. Let
no,
me,
no, no. You on my platform.
but I'm a guest.
You are, so what?
You
So what? Like I said, I think you are a disingenuous, dishonest person.
so this is
So
the
it
conversation
doesn't matter.
you want to have.
Well, first and foremost, on any topic
You're
that
saying
we're
first,
discussing, hold on. On any topic that we're discussing, we're going to always be the most knowledgeable. That's why you didn't pull up on Dr. Ma'at's platform when we were up there, because you knew that on this debate of Pan-Africanism and Freedmanism, if you will, that you was going to get smoked, just like the brother Asar Imhotep got smoked. And I've been building with Asar Imhotep, doing battle with him for years, and I do not think that you're more knowledgeable than him at all. Your form of politics, or what you think is politics, is mere politicized rhetoric that comes from what some may call black nationalist circles. It is not real politics. It's not real political analysis. It's just a whole bunch of the white man, global white supremacy, and we all have to unite globally to defeat this this scourge, when globally most of the people that are African or Pan-African don't even like us. And we know that because we've experienced it over the past few years. Ali, you was going to say something?
Yeah, what I was gonna say is what you got to remember is you don't always know who you're talking to. You're assuming certain things, and I can tell from the stuff that you're saying that you're assuming a lot of stuff. You're a young dude. You're a young dude. So as a young person, don't assume that you are more advanced in anything than any of us up here.
Because you're not.
I guarantee you, you're younger than me. You have not been involved in all of these things the way you think you have any longer than any of the rest of us up here. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. Just because you're affiliated with different Pan African organizations does not put you at any kind of advantage in terms of your knowledge in the area of reparations than anybody else up here. Believe that. Believe that. Because if that was the case, you would have demonstrated that by now. If the Pan Africans had the answer, and I'm specifically saying this because I know that's where you come, where your position comes from, the way you approach these particular topics. You approach it from that perspective. I seen what you put in the chat. America isn't broken; it needs to be broken, right? So your thing is different from ours. We're not talking about breaking America. We're talking about fixing our people.
That's
So
right.
we know where you're coming from. You on that kind of, revolutionary. We need to listen. That's your thing. Do it. Do it. But we've been waiting for a very long time for Pan Africans to get in there and start busting these guns. We've been waiting for a very long time for the Pan Africans to expatriate and move over to one of these countries that's more desirable to your situation and your lifestyle. There are a whole bunch of countries over there on the African continent that you can move to, yet you're still here in this country paying taxes to this government you claim is oppressive, where you are funding your own oppression by paying these taxes. So I'm trying to understand, when are these Pan-Africanists who are so Afrocentric going to actually expatriate and get the hell on up out of here and move on over there to the countries that they came from? This is what I'm trying to understand.
You
on mute,
muted.
brother.
I didn't mute myself. I was
No, yeah, I muted you. I muted you.
yeah, I was muted. So I mean, I was under the impression that I was pulling up to have a dialogue. I think that right away your interaction with me is when were you looking for like smoke? And I keep telling you that if you are, what I was trying to say before I was cut off is that if you are sincere about the objective of reparations, then I'm more so concerned with coalitions and where we can meet and what we can agree on. Everything that I've put in the chat this evening has actually been an effort to actually do bridge building in terms of America isn't broken. It needs to be broken. That was in response to someone talking about the brother Marcel's his campaign slogan. His campaign slogan that in order to fix Black America, in order to fix America, you have to fix Black America. My response is simply that America is not broken. It needs to be broken. This is the paradigm that has been set up and established. And if we don't understand that first and foremost, then we're not even like, our objectives can never be correct because we're trying to reform or correct a situation that can't be corrected, or at least through the means that we're attempting to use to address it.
So what's the means? What are those means?
I mean, I think that whenever you're talking about domination or oppression, you're having a conversation about power, right? And whenever, there's a situation where you have asymmetric power, on two sides, like you have a state that has institutions and militaries and enforced governments and imperial power all across the globe. So right away, the power dynamic between us and the system that oppresses us right away is asymmetrical, right? So we have to first and foremost figure out.
Okay, so because I want to get to the point. How do you break America? How do you break America? Because you said it needs to be broken.
See, here's the thing: our energy actually powers America. We buy into this system that is built on our back, and we falsely assume that that there's a way that this system can be reformed and we can participate in it in the way that it presently exists.
Who believes that? Who believes that?
I'm speaking collectively, us as a people. Like the energy, I've already stated several times. I didn't
wait. Let me reiterate just in case you didn't hear me clearly. Whenever you and I come in contact with each other, it's gonna always be smoke. So I don't want you to ever get that confused, but I'm going to engage you. I'm going to engage you in the conversation, and the brothers probably will jump in at some point. But I don't want you to be confused about that. Everything that you just said, I would apply zero of it to anything that I'm doing here in the United States for me and my people. And
Naheem, can I say something?
Definitely, but we are involved in a lot of major things. We are actually responsible. We are part of the reason why this movement is moving the way that it's moving right now. We are doing real things politically. The things that we are doing will, in the long run, benefit our people. There's nothing that you guys are doing that helps our people. It's just a bunch of rhetoric. It's a bunch of talk that comes from these Black nationalist ideals that have never ever sprouted from the seeds that were planted in the 60s and in the 70s. It's just a bunch of sound good, intellectualized babble, and that's it. So how do you, I just need an answer to the question. How do you break America? Can you just sum it up for us?
First of all, I think that you and I have to pause. If there's smoke, there's one-sided smoke, because it's definitely.
Well, then there's one-sided smoke.
All right.
Just answer the question, please.
You're not here to necessarily have a conversation, then, are you?
Yo, you jumped on the stream.
No, I was.
You're in the chat talking greasy. You've been talking greasy for the longest. You had me in some Photoshop images in the debate with Logic. Like it's smoke, dude. Don't try to pretend like everything is cool now. It's smoke. So don't act like we're just gonna have this conversation based on the fact that I've forgotten about that BS you pulled by disrespecting my image and my personage. But it's not gonna go like that. So I'm affording you as much respect that I can on the Be the Power platform.
Yeah, let me.
I think he owe you an apology for that. I think he owe you an apology for that, yo.
Listen. I came up here to build. If there's any disrespect, there's no apologies ever being given. So I want us to understand that like right away.
So as long as you so then you should expect the smoke then. This is what I'm saying. You should expect the smoke. But I still let's wait a minute. Because this guy, everybody that's listening in could clearly hear that this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He thinks that his methodical tone and his good diction somehow makes up for the fact that he's just rambling and babbling about a bunch of nothing. So we want to hear how you break America. I don't know, to forget my tone, forget what I'm talking about. I'm affording you the space to answer that question. The reason why I keep cutting you off is because you keep dancing around the question.
No, I mean you inserting a lot of stuff. This is you inserting.
How do you break America, bro?
This is you inserting your.
How do you break America?
The conversation. So
I'll
have the dialogue.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Who would want to break?
To be muted. If there's no conversation, I'm not here to do the feminine shit. Like, look, one of us.
Hey, hold on.
I just muted him. Go ahead, Grim. He think he's gonna filibuster and talk and then get people to.
There's no
be muted.
All right, just listen for a second. Just listen for a second.
Okay,
you said you
do you
wanted to
have the answer about breaking America?
Yeah. The answer, if I stated to you that America is that this system that oppresses us and dominates us, if I stated to you that it's built on our back, then one of the clear ways that we can address it is to stand up. And how do you you don't stand up without establishing power. And that's the conversation that I tried to have from the very beginning. I said if we're in an asymmetrical situation,
let them keep going. Let them keep going.
All right, go ahead. No, I'm gonna let you go.
I'm gonna keep going because I want to hear where this is going. Because I really want him to answer how you break America. That's a specific question, right? And I think the answer should be specific. So far we ain't get there, but maybe he's getting there. Keep going.
Yeah, I want to hear his perspective. I want to hear his perspective because if we in opposition, I want to know what the full position is. So go ahead, bro.
So brother Ali, you said that we are all. I mean, you much older than me, as you stated, right? So I would think that the level of intelligence here wouldn't be seeking a microwave answer to a 400-year problem. I think the first thing that we have to acknowledge is that we are in a conflict, that we are locked in a war. We don't acknowledge that from the jump. The reparations conversation, the conversation around power, the conversation around identity is all being had from a space of confusion. So if you can't acknowledge that this system or this government, right, or this entity that we are going to demanding reparations from, if you can't acknowledge that the harm, the assault, the injury is ongoing and it's an act of war, then how do we even start to enter the conversation? Is that as you said at the beginning,
we're the ones who are teaching people about the stain of slavery. What do you mean if you can't understand?
I'm talking about present day. If you can't acknowledge that this is still an ongoing war, if we can't acknowledge.
Okay, so you don't understand what the
So
state of
wait.
slavery
So
is.
break
Let him
that
keep.
down.
I know. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna let him go. How much of our platform have you watched, Omar Wale?
I don't watch your platform.
Okay, so then why do you assume that we don't teach that this is a protracted war that we are faced with in 2022? Why do you assume that?
I mean, I think one could make the assumption that if I assumed that I was in a war with an enemy, I wouldn't be waving the flag of my enemy.
Okay, so you believe that because we are in the country. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Were Black people citizens of this country when this country was first founded?
Black people have never been and still are not citizens in this country. We are fighting for citizens.
I'm gonna let y'all deal with them. I'm gonna mute out. This dude doesn't. He don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Hold
He's
on,
no
hold on.
different
I'm
than the
sure
rest
there's
of the
more.
people
I'm
that
sure
come
there's
up
more.
with.
I'm sure there's more.
Go ahead. Let him hang himself.
Let me say this. Let me answer the question because
can I ask
it's about breaking.
Just
It's
before I
about
answer,
breaking America. You
can I
said
ask-
breaking America.
Yeah, you can
You
ask. Just
have to break.
let Grim go and then ask your question. You can
Yeah.
ask.
So you said breaking America, and everybody from that kind of school of thought has always talked about breaking America. The Messenger Elijah Muhammad wrote for 30 to 40 something years about breaking America and America it being broke. And everybody always talking about breaking a place. Now, I mean, I'm a veteran, man, and I've seen many fucking countries broken. And when you talking about breaking America, Omar Wale, bro, that's not something that you may think you want to see that, but that's not something that you really want to see. You don't want to see America broken. And see, a lot of people don't understand. We understand maybe local politics, maybe national politics, but we don't understand a lot of international politics as well, as far as how human beings and rulers and around these countries, around this world operate. That's number one. But you don't want to see your home. You may not acknowledge this as your home, but you don't want to see your home broken, regardless of what country, man, Billy Bob, Confederate flag waving guy thinks about it. You follow what I'm saying? Because
I hear what you say.
That's your grandmother that's going to starve. That's your son and daughter that's going to starve and hurt. Look, I mean, you talking about America being broken, brother? Have you not watched the news lately? They may very well be a food shortage. There's already a formula shortage in this country. And a lot of those things are happening now, not just because a lot of that stuff is happening universally because of the denying of the justice of the freedmen. But this ain't something that you want to see broken. This is something that you want to see fixed. And that's what politics is about. That's what we've been teaching on this platform, getting people where we can basically change a lot of these laws and change these conditions, man. But the black boot stomp, man, that ain't gonna work. Look, they're about to give Grandmaster Jay 20-something years.
Right.
We civilized.
That's right. Now, what was the question you were going to ask?
I'll ask the question. I just want to do a quick reply to the brother Grimm's statement. Just to clarify again for the second time, my comment that I made in the chat was in response to the motto of the brother Marcel's campaign. He says, in order to fix America, you have to repair Black America, or repair Black America to fix America. And my statement was simple, that it was simply that America's not broken, right? America is operating as designed. If anything, it needs to be broken. So for you to say, I don't really want to see this situation, like, yeah, I do. The leg or the knee that is on my neck, I absolutely want to see it broken. So
Okay, but that's you talking about
that's
certain institutions, right? You talking about
I'm
police
talking about the
brutality,
I'm talking about this is systemic. I'm like so
right?
it
Right.
impacts.
Can
General.
you be more specific about that? Because we know that when people say, well, when America gets a cold, Black America gets pneumonia. So if America is broken, what are we completely shattered? Like, are we like evaporated or something? Like what? Because we're no matter what, like if we're tied to this country. So if America is broken and America is vulnerable, what number one, what other nation stands to take advantage of that or to try to, strike while the iron is hot? And how does that put us at an extreme disadvantage, being that we are already at the bottom? We already, any pain that's felt here is already magnified greatly against us.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with your statement where you said if America is broken, what are we? I think you said, are we fragmented? I think in many ways, like clearly, like we're atomized. Is that not reflective of our identity conflict, of the political conflict that we see, even within the reparations movement right now? Right, the identity training barrels on each other. Like I pulled up here and like the brother said he got smoked. I don't have
Yeah,
anybody.
but yeah, I know you don't have smoke,
This,
but that's because you
but
disrespected
see,
the brother.
that's right.
Come
No.
on, man.
Hold on. Let me
how
address
are
this
you
dude.
gonna say
Ho-
you don't have smoke for a brother when debating certain issues you made cartoon characters of this man, mock this man with his religious headdress on, right? Put this man's visage on a baby's body and put it in Yvette Cornell's hands, and you think that that's all right.
Yeah, it was
But then
symbology.
you're going to come on this platform and
It's
speak in a
disrespect.
monotone manner and act like you
Without
come
making amends and
therefore
none of that.
It's
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
disrespect.
and then this clown got up here and said,
and then
I'm not
and
apologizing
then
for
and then
that.
and
It's
then
not-
say you
Chill.
don't
Let me address this dude, y'all. Let me address this dude. Cause I want
can
I want everybody else to know, yo, shut up, dude.
I
Be
ask?
quiet, man. You on our platform. You on our platform. You could
Why
leave.
are you
Cause
so
you ain't making no sense at
why
all.
are you so emotional? Like I thought we were having an intelligent
Mute.
continue to
All right, let me put this dude in timeout. Let me put him in timeout. Yeah, dip off. Dip off. First and foremost, notice, y'all, this dude
He
he didn't answer the
he
question.
didn't answer.
He doesn't make one bit of sense. And this was the chart. This is why I wanted to debate the dude on Dr. Maat's channel. She told the brother, like, come on. And the brother would not jump on with me because he knew that he was going to get cooked. You could, all of that condescending, intellectual, good
It's
diction
not even
sounding
intellectual,
BS.
bro.
No, it's not
It's
intellectual. It's
really not.
intellectual sounding. It's intellectual sounding. So all of that stuff is a bunch of BS, right? And this brother disrespecting me, and he feels that he could come on, remix. He remixed brother Marcel's comment about fixing Black America, talking about America itself needs to be broken. No, you need to be broken. You need to be broken. Clowns like you and the people that you are aligned with, Narcan and Cobra, who are helping to hurt our people, y'all need to be broken. Y'all need to be feathered and tarred and marched out in front of the people and lit a flame. Point blank, period. All of y'all are rocking with the people like Clyburn and the rest of these coons. You think you're saying something so dope by saying that America needs to be broken and all of this guy said that we shouldn't be voting. I pulled up his blogs. I listened to podcasts that this clown did when we was going to do the debates with this dude. I pulled all that stuff up. I heard it and I read it. Talk about we should be forget voting. We need to be going back to Africa. Then have the nerve to come up here and try to tell people that somehow they are the ones that are politically behind the curve. This dude is dumb, man. This dude is dumb.
They're apolitical, right?
Apolitical and
Most of
dumb.
these people are apolitical. Back to Africa, Africa people, right? And it's just it's really a slogan, man. Most of that shit is slogans. It's like it really doesn't have any substance because all of the people talking that kind of talk are always resident citizens and nationals of the United States. They're not, some of these jokers are claiming, well, I have dual citizenship. Yeah, but you spend your damn time here. Why not go all the way? Why be to me dual citizenship is like one of them half stepping motherfuckers, man. If you serious about what you talking about, if America need to be broke, my thing is why waste good energy trying to break a fucking world superpower? Why not take your ass back to your native land and be there with your fucking people, man? Why waste time trying to break a goddamn superpower? This see,
Hey,
go ahead,
and
man. Come
then
on, man.
and look, Ali, I'm
Wait,
sorry, bro.
wait, yeah,
Look, and then
wait, Grim. Grim, he said that we was faced with asymmetrical warfare on all sides, plus a global threat. And he's talking about the only thing we got to do is break the country and stand up. Man,
come
get
on.
your goofy self out of here. That dude is a goofball, man. Go ahead, Grim.
Hey, here's my thing, man. So basically, we're gonna abandon, just like the brother say, the devil you know. So we're gonna abandon the system that we know, the system that we've been fighting, the system that we've been taking L's with, also claiming major victories in. We're gonna throw it away to go over there to Africa to get into and try to understand the dynamics for a whole nother different oppression that we don't understand. So we're going to have to and try to address the problems of these African nations that we may repatriate to, expatriate to, right? So, and we're going to have to deal with African corruption. Look, many corrupt African countries that they have. Nigeria is one of the among them in the chief corrupt African countries. So not only that, we're going to have to go over there and fight European colonialism, European powers, European value in African money. Because by the way, most African currency, y'all know where their federal reserves are? I think we talked about that on this show before.
Mm-hmm.
Most federal reserves of African countries are in Europe.
Facts.
Meaning that these African dollars with these black faces on it is only backed and controlled by the federal reserves in France and in Germany and other countries like that. So basically, we're going to forget all of this and go over there to a whole nother set of problems. And hey, look what happened recently, right? These motherfuckers was something. Boy, I told you, these people are so corrupt that when George Floyd was murdered, the protest of freedmen in America inspired the Nigerian people to raise up against police brutality in their own country being perpetrated by them, by other black officers in special forces. So y'all want us to give this up, the headway we make it, to go over there to Africa to get beat up by they fucking police.
Man, listen, that don't make no sense. Look at this chart right here that we pull up all the time. How much foreign aid the world receives from the United States. Ethiopia, 1.1 billion. South Sudan, 924 million. Uganda, 741 million. Tanzania, 626 million. Somalia, 584 million. Mozambique, 580 million. I'm trying to find.
They own, and all that money, all of them natural resources, none of them people raised up to take none of that shit back.
That's right.
And all of them countries still suffering under poverty that American freedmen over here in this country can't even imagine.
That's right. So you can't even get them countries together. You can't get those countries to break the colonial grip, and they run their own countries. And you think you're gonna come over here and preach to us about, man, these people are silly. And I'm glad, because what it really was, what that guy really came up here to do was try to
Gloat.
mock the fact that
Gloat.
brother Marcel lost, right?
That's
Gloat.
it.
That
That's
was
what I said
it.
from the
And
beginning.
that's why, he doesn't deserve nothing but smoke. That guy doesn't deserve no respect. He's a clown. Point blank, period.
Right, because people like him, people like Greg Carr, and the circles that Greg Carr runs in, these people were, look, they're elated, right? Because they're all establishment people. They're all establishment people. As much as Greg Carr talks about smoke and how he wants smoke and this and that and all that, Greg Carr lives right here in the United States. Greg Carr pays taxes to this oppressive government, this white man oppressive government that need to be broken. He ain't doing nothing to try to break it, but what they're doing is they're helping to fund their local and state governments by paying taxes instead of just expatriate. See, that's always been my response to any of those people. You can talk everything you want to talk. You want to talk about trying to break as a quote unquote minority group. You want to try to break a world superpower? Be my guest. When you gonna start busting them guns, right? You notice he never answered that question. No Pan-African, anybody who always talks about taking down America, you notice they never answer how they gonna do it or when they gonna start it. Nobody ever takes any steps to do anything. They're always talking about what needs to happen in terms of us and our relationship with Africa and all of this. Where's these relationships? What have these relationships produced? Right, and then some of these jokers that start talking about some of the business they're doing with something, somebody might be selling a shirt here and there to somebody over there, somebody selling them something. That's not business, man. That's nothing. That's nothing, because if it was real lucrative, and if you really had a base of support for any business that you're doing in Africa, you should be over there doing it. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here. You should be over there taking care of your business. I don't understand that. I don't understand that, why people consistently come at us. And then let's talk about this thing about the flag. He talk about you raising the flag of your oppressor. You worrying about the flag, yet you're a debtor, consumer, tax-paying citizen of the United States.
Under that flag.
Under that flag. Huh? Come on, man. This is what I mean. Like, the stupidity of this stuff is fucking crazy, man. And they really be thinking that they dropping heavy stuff on you. They really think they dropping something heavy, like you rocking the flag of the oppressor. Well, you're using the oppressor's platforms. You're using the oppressor's zip codes. You're using the oppressor's address. Using the oppressor's phone services. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Come on. You wearing the oppressor's clothes? Who manufactured your clothes? Who manufactured them shirts? Where you get them
Yeah,
shirts and them damn Jordans from that you rock?
Yeah,
See,
and not
Come
only
on,
that,
man.
the water, using
Everything.
that internet connection work well. You know what I'm saying?
what you got, charter?
That
Or you got
Amazon, that
what,
when you want something today or in 2 days, you know what I'm saying? When you hit the light switch, the power cut on because it ain't ration. A lot of people don't understand what people got to
Hey
deal with
John, what
when
kind
you
of
go into
internet
some of these other
connection you got?
countries.
He got a satellite dish that connects to Ubuntu in Africa?
Yeah, man.
Go
And let me say this. Let me say
ahead,
this,
bro.
man. I feel like that there's a place for all of this. Like there's a place for to have a responsible conversation, or if somebody want to talk about some form of like being able to do business, being able to find out how you can connect certain industries or anything that little power that we do have or business that we do have, how we can connect or how we can do something politically. I believe there's a space for that, and then maybe there's some room to grow that, especially as we interact more and with the population of people coming from the diaspora or Africa in America. I believe there's space for that. But what we're hearing from this brother and others that share his ideology is something way beyond and way more fantastical than that. That's not a responsible conversation. And a more responsible conversation, and I want to say trying to intermix that with reparations, that is a totally different conversation. You shouldn't even be having any conversation dealing with Pan-Africanism and reparations at all, because this doesn't apply.
I agree, Josh.
And I don't understand, like, if you are in favor of Pan-Africanism, you shouldn't have anything critical to say of us, because what are we doing? Like, it's what is the freedmen population in America? The American freedmen population is something, let's say 30, is in the 30-ish millions. Well, it's several countries in Africa that don't have a population of 30 million. You know, it's Caribbean countries that don't have a population of 30 million, 40 million people. So we're you can probably put several countries together and don't have that population. So what we're doing, uniting our people here in America, the most powerful nation in the world, that we're doing, we're doing what you would fantasize to do, or what you're talking about fantastically doing with Pan-Africanism. Another thing, dealing with breaking America. I said it before. I'm gonna maybe give a little bit more depth to it. When you're talking about breaking America, you know, let's say America breaks down. Of course, I talked about that we will be the most greatly impacted. But who would benefit the most? Do you think it would be the countries that are not able to capitalize on that? Or you think it'd be the countries that have been gunning for America the whole time? I think it would be China and Russia and, some of those type of countries, right? It's not going to be Zimbabwe and Congo and some of these countries that are always war torn, Liberia and Haiti. It's not going to be those countries that are barely struggling. I mean, that are barely, that are struggling. These countries that really don't have it together at all, that are in shambles. It's probably going to be Russia and China. So are you saying that we break America and align with Russia and China? I mean, because last time I checked, they don't owe us anything. Last time I checked, we have zero power with them. Last time I checked, there's serious racism even in those countries. So
Yeah, especially China.
yeah, China and Russia, there's some racist ass countries, man.
Yeah.
There's some racist countries and like we have no history with them. Like they don't owe us anything. Like we have no power with those countries, and it's just not a well thought out move. Another thing, speaking of China, China is the main neo-colonial power on the continent of Africa.
Come
So
on.
when you're talking about breaking America and building up and allying with the continent of Africa, you really have to see, okay, do I have the power to out compete or can we do something that we gotta? So you want to break free of America and beat the American system, and then to do what? To have to go and fight the Chinese system too? Like that's just the reality of today.
That's what happened in that movie, The Man. That what they call that movie, Naheem, The Man in the High Castle.
Yep.
All that
Right.
stuff, man. A lot of the science behind a lot of these movies and stuff like that, it is really symbolic. Let's go back to because I don't want this to take away from Marcel's victory, and I call this Marcel's
Yeah, let's
victory.
get back to it, man.
Yeah, I don't want nigger monsters to detract from Marcel, man, because this was a victory. Kind of going back to the points that I had made, that Marcel is really the first reparationist candidate, man, to make the waves that he made. I mean, to cheat, what's her name? Pam from Martin with her fine self. What she said? I mean, she shouted Marcel out, man.
Tachina Arnold.
Tina Arnold. She shouted Marcel out, man. So these people are listening, man. This was a major victory. And for the most part, most of the time, this Freeman philosophy, this Freeman name and terminology was on that brother's tongue when he was demonstrating. So I mean, I would like to basically get back to Marcel's victory, man. And I'm not worried about no Pan-Africanism or none of that stuff, man, because this was a victory for that brother.
That's
And
right,
this is
Grim.
victory for all freedmen, man, who adopt the freedman philosophy around the country.
That's right, bro. You're absolutely right about that. And see, Muggs is jealous, man, because they haven't really produced that kind of thing before. You see what I mean? And you know, the effect that it's having on the people. Even though you have within his district people who are for the status quo, right? They know Clyburn for the last 30 some years, and that's what they go with, and they old, and that's the way old people do. They fixed in their ways. But the fact of the matter is, from the point that you just made about Pam from Martin or Sister Tashina Arnold, rightly, to even the interview with Karen Hunter, the fact that Karen Hunter, and she's one of them, she's one of them left people, right? We know Karen Hunt, the Karen Hunters and the Roland Martin types, right? She's one of them type of left people. The fact that she had him on, and not just had him on, but he actually, see, the thing is, Marcel was holding stuff down. That's right, Cato Marcel. We know him over here as BTP Cato, right? A lot of people don't know we knew BTP Cato before most of America knew anything about who he was. Right? But the fact of the matter is, this brother was holding that message down, like you said, bro. That Freedman philosophy, that we call it, that Freedman knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, he brought that to spaces and corners of America that BTP wouldn't have reached. You know what I'm saying? So he basically carried that message, you know what I mean, to the people, and that's ultimately what we wanted, and it sparked something. It sparked something within the people, right? You see that the responses that he's getting from around the country. Yeah, it's not his district. Fine, it's not his district, but it sparks something in the people around the country, and that's what this is about. Because we dealing in politics. Some politics is local, some is state, but some is federal. And at the same time, we're drumming up a base of support, and that's what that brother did, and that's the victory. That's the Freedman victory that we see in this whole thing that other people may not see.
It's a clarion call. It's a clarion call to the establishment. And it lets it be known. You got to think, there's not just like Democrats that, like, because the brother ran as a Democrat, they, will try to paint him in the corner of a Democrat. And that's why they tried to come out and call him a Dixiecrat, because the things that he stands for is the things that a majority of Black people stand for: Second Amendment rights, anti-abortion, et cetera, et cetera. And so that wasn't democratic according to their political ideology. That was more of what some would call Republican. And so you had Republicans coming out. Breitbart put out an article on the brother. Like, there was a clarion call, and it was a wake up. They had the progressive movement that started in the early 1900s. And we find current iteration of that progressive movement with what's called today's Justice Democrats. But they're not really Justice Democrats. They're just more of the same. Justice Democrats, or justice for them, I should say, is a man dressed up as a woman being able to go into a woman's bathroom. That's justice for them. Our ideas of justice are different. Our ideas of progress and progressivism is different, and they've witnessed that. And they're gonna see a whole lot more of that in the future. And I'm launching the Don't Vote Blue 2022 campaign. This is for everybody. All the beefs and BS aside, this is for everybody. We need to send the Democrats a message that they will suffer a political consequence for their generations of benign neglect. They will. And we need to get everybody behind this Don't Vote Blue 2022 movement. They need to know that if they're not, Biden just put out what was that he signed today? I posted it on my wall. Somebody
Something
jump in.
about I think it was something about trying to put together something to study.
Oh yeah, a museum for AAPI.
Yeah, the
Museum. There you
museum
go.
for the I'm trying to pull it up, man.
It's man. The problem I have with stuff like that is when, like you try to normalize everything. Like everything should be. You need to have diversity, but diversity for diversity's sake. Not understanding that the reason why we had something, it wasn't just to include. Wasn't just for the diversity's sake. It wasn't just to have inclusion. It was because we needed something. We need these things in place to tell our story of oppression, struggle, and building America, emancipation, our inventions. We needed somewhere to tell our full story as being, the people that are that are foundational to America, that pioneer America, and all of that. You like when you want to normalize that, like, well, every group need to have a month. Because I remember it used to be Black History Month. And then I don't know what happened, right? I don't know what happened. All of a sudden it's Women's History Month. It's AAPI History Month. It's Pride Month. It's this month. It's that month. Like everybody get a month. Then like what makes the freedmen unique? It's just pretty much don't worry about it. You just get to fade off into irrelevance in America, and that we cannot let that happen. Especially being a group that was never given the repair that we're owed.
And y'all see it up on the screen, family. Biden signs bill. He signed a bill that creates a panel to study possible National Museum of Asian Pacific American history and culture. We can't even get a bill to study reparations signed.
Now
Facts.
that bill got to pass through both houses, right?
Yeah,
For the
well,
president to sign it.
yeah, yeah.
So the problem is getting this reparations bill to pass through both houses. But that's why people have been calling on the president to go ahead and use executive action to make the commission, the Kerner Commission. The Kerner Commission was an executive commission. That wasn't something that was legislated through Congress. So it can be done. It can absolutely be done by way of executive action. It does not have to come through the legislature, but that's a stall tactic to play that kind of game. Let's play this game of it can't get through the Senate, so therefore we can't do anything. We're at a
That's right.
stalemate. That's bullshit. Doesn't have to be that way. Go
And
ahead,
look
Nick.
what it says. It says the bill, Biden said, comes at a critical time, pointing to 1 year since the Atlanta spa shootings and the 80th anniversary of the incarceration of 120,000 Japanese Americans during World War II. The people that got reparations, family, they get an Atlanta spa shooting that had nothing to do with COVID. Nothing to do with COVID. The 120,000 Japanese Americans who got reparations. Then he said, I look forward one day to visiting the National Museum of Asian Pacific American History and Culture with all of you, he said. Like what? The bill was introduced by Vice President Kamala Harris, who talked about her mother, Shyamala Gopalan Harris. She's an Asian American.
Yeah, this is done. Like it's already in place. This is when he signs it, that means it's law. It
Yeah, it's
already
law.
went through Congress. So the bill is there it's just to study the idea of making the museum, which, basically they're gonna push that through.
Of
Like
course,
they
it's
do
gonna
with
be done.
everybody,
Facts.
everything else everybody wants except for what we asked for.
That's right. That's right.
Well, you already know they're gonna come back with, oh, we made a museum for y'all in Washington D.C. You have the, what's it called in Washington,
Yeah,
African
but that's
American or
still
whatever
not
the hell.
stopping white supremacists from driving to Buffalo and shooting us up. It's still not stopping the cops from shooting us down at will. It's still not stopping bank discrimination. It's still not stopping the banks from targeting us with mortgage. It still doesn't stop us from banks with. I had a call come through.
Basically, what we're seeing is the Anne Browning of America. They're Anne Browning freedmen in every aspect of America. Whatever the freedmen, you think something is supposed to be just for you, Negro. No, we need, it's black and brown. It's this black and brown. You got your history month. We got Anne Brown got to get hers too. You got your a museum. Anne Brown got to get hers too. Whatever else that we were supposed to get that we had, Anne Brown got to get it. And those people, they understand that they can get elected and they can run power, even though they're a smaller percentage of the population. They can run their power and flex it through Congress and president. Hey, these are the people that we want to invest in. These are the people that we see growth in their political power in America as we continue to open our borders and let all these people come in and get the jobs and contracts and businesses and take advantage of all that America has to access. Yeah, so we want to make sure we pleasing to them and get their vote, because they're not dependent. They're not a dependent class like that. They can easily take their vote to the other side. So whereas these Negroes over here, hey, they captured. They can't go nowhere because they're a dependent class of people. And so that's why you're going to see more of the Anne Browning. Everything that we get. No, wait a minute. No, Anne Brown got to get hers too. So therefore it neutralizes whatever that you thought that you might have. We're going to see more of that. The only way we will not see more of it, because we talk about the problems, we got to talk about the solution. The only way we can not see more of that is if those people who support brother Marcel Dixon don't support him. You can't vote for him when you out in Arizona. You can't vote for him when you in Chicago. You can't vote for him when you in Boston. You
Speak
can't
on
vote
it.
for him when you in Texas. You can't vote for him when you're in California. You're gonna have to
Yep.
vote for him when you're in the American Freedmen South in South Carolina,
Yes. Come
District
on,
6.
Josh.
Then you can become the power.
And what we've been saying, man, since last year, bro. We've been telling people to come back south. We've been following the back south strategy, which is to populate the American South with in jurisdictions like that to basically begin to run our candidates or whatever to represent our interests. Get some type of majority to where people would have to compromise and people would have to go along. That's what the whole thing is. That this country been like that, man. And the thing where we mess up at, our people, man, we have permanent allegiances. Where other people, they don't have permanent allegiances. They have permanent interests. So that's what we were saying about the older black people in the church and stuff like that. They see the D behind these people names, and then they go click that button right next to that D, And we got to get out of that kind of stuff. We got to get out of that whole mentality, man, to where we're not willing to cross certain lines to get certain things done as far as like communicating with people. We can change these power dynamics. And that's even in the Republican Party, man. We can change these power dynamics. I mean, look what happened recently. And Naheem spoke on this a lot. I hadn't been following it lately because I've been off from the news. The whole thing with the lady running for mayor against the Republican. Well, I mean, what's the sister name? In Los
Karen
Angeles.
Bass. Karen Bass.
Karen Bass in a runoff with the former Republican who turned Democrat, and everybody's mad because the numbers show that a lot of black men are supporting this man for office. And this is my words to the GOP, because I always tweet the GOP. They better wake up and recognize and see what's going on with these black men, and how these black men are basically being marginalized and boxed out of democratic politics. And black men are starting to wake up and say, wait a minute, what's going on here? And the GOP would be fools not to see that there's a rising interest of black males that are standing up for certain conservative values. Because basically, I don't want to change the topic, but I'm going to just say this. Basically, black men see that, number one, manhood is under attack. Their stations with their families under attack. Their position in society is being attacked by feminism. So a lot of these gentlemen are going to conservative values as far as social conservatism with their families, being the head of household, opportunities afforded to them. So they're becoming conservative. So the GOP would be fools not to seize on that. But then at the same time, we have to have our interests represented, and the GOP have to take their hands off of their ears when black men begin to discuss the things that they see affects them. You follow what I'm saying? But black men, we being boxed out of freaking democratic politics, man. And they using our women against us to make these bogus statements that, hey, just shut up and vote and get to the back and let the black women run this thing. The whole time these true Dixiecrats are basically, man, trying to erode black life.
Indeed. Brother Ali or Josh, I want to add anything. We're going to start winding this thing down.
Nah, I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to having the conversation and really educating on this whole thing about race. And before I go there, let me just say again, the brother is victorious, because like we said, and I think this is the thing that people really need to understand. The freedman knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, that resurrection of that American freedman status, that knowledge, that wisdom, that understanding of the significance and importance of that political and legal status to our people, how it's rooted in Reconstruction and the failures of the United States government during Reconstruction, and how all of that plays a role in our social, political, and economic standing in this society till this day, has been carried by this brother to corners of this country that BTP wouldn't have reached. For us, for him, that's victorious, right? He's building and drumming up a certain type of support and a certain level of consciousness among the people that wasn't there before but is here now, and it's going to do nothing but grow. That's victorious, and that's going to have ramifications in elections all around the country. You best believe that. It's going to have ramifications with regard to legislation all around the country. You best believe that. So this is victory for us. No matter what any nigger monster, no matter what any European or any other demon decides they want to say about it, it is what it is, and our people know it for what it is. I just wanted to say that, and I'm looking forward to having a sophisticated, like I said, a sophisticated conversation about race, about the badges and incidents of slavery, about the stain of slavery, which that brother that was on didn't understand. He thinks he's knowledgeable, but he's really not. He's a kid parroting a bunch of nonsense
That's
that
right.
hasn't produced a goddamn thing for our people in this country. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation. And if he decides he wants to come back, then he can come back then and get educated even further on that kind of information. Because I guarantee you, this is way above where his head is at.
And that's a fact. That is
Yeah.
a fact. This is the Be the Power platform. This is the Be the Power platform. We do things different over here. So it
Yeah,
is what it is. Brother Josh or who was
yeah,
that about? Grim?
yeah. This Josh.
Okay,
Yeah,
Josh.
yeah. I just have to say, man, I'm proud of the brother Cato. What we call him Cato. I remember he used to be in our chats, man, and they're like, who was this dude, man? He talking wild out there. We give him the link. He come on. He starts spitting. I'm like, okay, you know. And we talk about being the power. The next thing you know, he's running. He's announcing his campaign, and certain things happen. And you're like, man, it's gonna be a tough battle to defeat this dude Clyburn, especially with all the stuff that he has to face and overcome. Um, but to see how in a short period of time, because it really has only been what, a year or less than a year, I don't know, that he's really been pushing and gaining traction. But in that short period of time, he's been able to raise money. He's been able to educate the people around the country, including people that influential, and have make them aware of this freedmen history, and talk about the need for delineation, the need for specific policies, and talk about how you can have representation of people that look like you, and show in at the highest level how they sell you down the river, um, and how they are just a face for the benign neglected we're talking about on this flyer right here. I mean, that's what we're saying a victory. Obviously, it's not a victory when you don't win the election, but I don't think it's I don't think anybody actually thought he had a chance of winning. But where he did win at was he struck a blow. He struck a blow in the establishment of, you know, representing by face instead of representing by, action, addressing our issues. He won in changing things. He's changing the perspective. I think he won in making the progress towards where we need to go. And if he runs again in another state race, then he'll. I mean, this is he. I see him running again, and maybe the next time he runs for this office, the outcome will be different because he'll have 2 years, or he'll have some more time to be able to continue to build his brand, to continue to build those relationships in South Carolina, and get the votes he needs. Now, if I gotta once again say it. We need more candidates that are going to step up. People that if you're not going to step up and run, we need more people that are going to support the people that are going to step up and run in these areas, and put something on the line. Like, yeah, you know, put if you have some connections, if you got some businesses and some contracts or whatever, and if you're just saying, well, I'm not willing to disrupt that because, by going against the incumbent, forget that, man. You're gonna have to put something on the line. You're gonna have to sacrifice and take a L somewhere so we can get ahead. Otherwise, you just participating in, and you're maintaining our position at the bottom and maintaining our exploitation. So, man, that's all I got. That's all I got. But hey, I'm proud of the brother, Marcel, and I hope if he's listening, I hope he sees it as a victory, considering where he started.
Hey, I want to say something real quick for my closing. I just realized that Clyburn, they may have done something unlawful when, and when Josh was talking about it, when he was talking, it popped in my head. Well, y'all know that the Clyburn blocked Marcel. I don't think that that's legal because Donald Trump was blocking people a couple of years ago, and there was a lawsuit that was saying that politicians can't block citizens. So I think them blocking Marcel from their page, I think that may have been illegal, so to speak. And that I just wanted to mention that. So if anybody talk to Brother Man between now and then, y'all might want to pass that information to Marcel, because they have to unblock him regardless if they don't. But I was telling the sister the other, I mean, man, when you got family members coming out the blue, and I was saying this earlier too, when you got family members coming out the blue to defend you against Marcel and the claims that Marcel made with his facts and his statistics, man, you cut a son of a gun bad when they start coming out like that, man. But I just want to say, man, peace to all the freedmen. We got Juneteenth coming up. I got my Juneteenth flag, so man, peace to all the freedmen, and y'all keep moving forward.
And let me say this real quick, Naheem, because I wanted to address something that was said in the chat by the Pan African guy. He asked the question, and I think you brought it up, was freedmen also a badge of slavery? And Josh answered it very, very, very properly. He said freedmen is a badge of emancipation. Freedman is a badge of emancipation. American is not a badge of slavery. American is the constitutional name for any of the citizens within the United States. So he's wrong about that. I just wanted to put that out there so it doesn't slip by without us actually addressing that directly head on. So that was it, bro.
Uh, no doubt, no doubt. So, fam, man, we're at the 2 hour mark. We've been keeping our eye on the election. I think the New York Times had the election called when I think 3% of the votes, or 3 to 5% of the votes, were already in. So, they're able, I'm guessing they're able to project, and they are, right? We watch it from CNN and NBC and MSNBC when they're doing elections and things of that nature, and they're able to call elections based on how many more votes are out there compared to how many votes that have already been tallied. So, it is what it is. The brother ran a hell of a race, and we got more work to do. We should look at this, as my brothers have stated, as a victory. I've just blocked a couple trolls in the chat. We're not doing that troll stuff over here. And we're going to just stay going back to the drawing board, stay getting it right. And we hope the other reparationist candidates that are out there that are trying to win, right, will come to the table with the rest of the family and sit down and try to figure this thing out, because it's doable. It's very, very doable.
And that fire that brother had, that knowledge and wisdom that he had, man, I'm telling you, right, for the other reparationist candidates, study this Freedman knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This Freedman philosophy, as our brother properly calls it, man, because brother Marcel BTP Cato did that, believe that brother did that, right? He took in all the information that he could, and he ran with it, and he added on to it. So the fact of the matter is, that's what everybody should be doing. If you love what that brother did, you need to come to BTP as well and get this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, because our brother did that same thing. And I think that everybody should do that who's interested in running that type of a campaign with that kind of fire, with that kind of knowledge, with that kind of understanding and wisdom. So I just want to put that out there to the family. We got the website up, United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, USADOF.org. A lot of information is on there. There's a questionnaire on there that would be very helpful to people who are new to the Freedmen information. Get that information. It's there. Brother Naheem has put together a civics guide. You can get that on the Be the Power website. What's the website, Brother Naheem?
Yeah, BeThePower.org. It's also on the USADOF.org website. I'm gonna put that link in the inbox. I'm gonna put several links from the website in the inbox. I just put the reparations link in there. I had put that out today. I don't think people seen that when I first put it out, but now I mean that joint is spreading all over social media right now.
If Marcel runs again in 2024, because I believe these races are 2 years apart. If he runs again, he's gonna beat this guy
Mm-hmm.
without a doubt. I have no doubt in my mind that he would beat him the very next time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we are hoping that other candidates step up from around the country. Step up from around the country. Come holler at us. Come build with us. We know what we're talking about over here. Go back and look at all of the past programs. We're going in, we're dissecting and deconstructing a lot of information and giving it to you from the proper political perspective via our freedmen lenses. That changes the perspective of everything. That changes the perspective of everything. So, we're looking forward to our people actually, like Sister Ross said, be encouraged, family. Make sure y'all be encouraged, because this is not a loss. This is a lesson. This is a lesson. I told Sister Tamara Sheila Johnson, Tamara Johnson Shirley, that 2 years ago, and I'm saying it again now. So, we're gonna close the stream out. Shout out to that brother Cato, brother Marcel. You ran, you did your thing. Shout out to everybody that supported the brother, regardless of any type of contentions and all of that. We showed that when it's time for us to come together, we're gonna come together. Period. And that's what this thing is supposed to be about. Look forward to, this campaign that's coming up. Don't vote blue in 2022. We're gonna be pushing that heavy over. Well, at least I'm gonna be pushing that heavy. This is a personal project of mine, and of course, anybody that wants to jump on, holler at me. But that is the Twitter handle at DVB 2022. I'm going to be pushing this thing heavy, and hopefully it gains the proper traction that it needs, because the Democrats need to understand that they must pay a political consequence for their benign neglect. And only then will they know that we're not playing and that we are here to stay. We are here to stay, and we're just gonna keep growing. Study the history of political movements. This may sound crazy, but it's real. It's real history. Go study Hitler when his party was making its rise. They was little. They kept taking a bunch of L's, but they kept spitting their ideology out, and they kept growing and bringing more people into the fold until they became the majority. They took over. They took over. And that's what it's about, family. That's what it's about. So shout out to everybody that's in the building. Somebody said, Sister Donna Brown said, every L is a leg to stand on. I like that one. And we'll be back probably in a couple days, because we want to touch on the subject about Black and Negro being
And,
yeah, go ahead, Ali.
and white.
And white.
Come on, red,
And white.
brown, yellow, all of these, the racial, colorized racial, all of that bullshit. We're gonna talk about that.
All of those terms are unconstitutional terms, right? But we're going to also speak to Black and Negro specifically being badges and incidents of slavery based on the definition of what badges and incidents of slavery mean. Y'all already know we gonna cook. We gonna cook. So I don't know when we're gonna do that. Today is, so we might do it. Oh no, not Thursday, because we're gonna possibly be live streaming something with the assembly, the NAASD. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. on Thursday. But if we don't do it Thursday, we may do it Sunday, but it will be coming. And we're going to start putting up more content on the channel. People need to know the real. And, you know, we help push this thing forward because we're real. We're not doing this. Y'all see this channel. We're not doing this as just some mere content creators and trying to criticize people without having full facts like some of these other platforms is doing and then taking up for other platforms. We don't do that over here. Not over here. We don't do what's popular. We do what's right. And with that, I'm going to close out with the motto of the platform, which is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then, and only then, will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.